You ready? Get this show on the road. You ready? Get this show on the road.
I hate with that building yesterday from my mom.
Yeah, you told me.
I was supposed to go to Dallas today.
That not happening or what?
No, I had to go to Dallas. Not where they're going up.
That not happening or what?
You got the list?
That not happening.
You got the list?
ready?
Yeah.
All right, Everett, let's do it.
Let's take this off.
Oh, now you're taking off. We're signing in. Good morning, everyone. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. Bit of a rough week, but
Hey, man, it's only Wednesday. What do you mean? Just a rough week. My. But we're here. That's the important thing. We are here. We're alive. We're breathing. And shoot, man, it's a beautiful day outside.
it is a beautiful day.
Yeah, the sun's shining, sky's blue, and you and I both are here and breathing. So that counts for something here at the Olympian Table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're here today, James Lee, and my co-host here along with me, your Olympian, Stephen Williams, to just talk about a little bit about real estate, finance, investments, all the stuff that we know nothing about, but we're going to share our opinions anyway. And we're going to be here to just kind of give you just kind of our perspective on things, on what's going on in the world, and just kind of talk about it. And please know, we don't claim to be any professional when it comes to this investment advice or anything, but we do dabble in it, so we try to give a little bit of nuggets that we've learned here and there. So we'll dive in this morning just kind of talking about, I guess the most recent thing, voting started here, I guess across the country, but for the primaries in Texas, there's been a bit of drama already with folks not being able to vote in this primary election. So I don't know, have you gone already to the polls?
I have not.
Okay, so I went early, right? So the primaries work a little bit different than just your regular traditional voting, because you have to, I think you can go anywhere to vote. You don't have to necessarily be in your precinct, but you have to choose a party that you want to vote for. Now, I got a text from a friend of mine. Hey, are they making y'all stand in separate lines, for Republican and Democrat, which identifies who you're with, right?
Right.
And I said, no, they didn't do that with me. I had to go up and just choose one on the screen, and then whichever one I chose, that's what the ballot they brought up for me. But he says they were making them almost kind of self-identify to stand in whichever the separate lines were before they actually went in to vote. And I thought that was pretty interesting here in the Houston area to do that, because it's, I don't know, in this time where we live in, people will persecute you and ridicule you for being aligned with a specific party, and it really doesn't matter when it comes to you being an individual, right?
Right.
So that, I know that's
But the guy that's on the video, I mean, he's got his Dr. Pepper. What more does he want?
well, that particular video that's up, and I think if you got the link, ever you can put up, that was one where that particular guy was telling that individual that if you were a Democrat, you could vote, but if you're a Republican, he was closed. You couldn't get there. You couldn't do it.
What, was there a different line? Or?
Well, apparently there was a different line or a different room or something, but specifically that video, that location was closed to Republicans to vote in the primary, and not Democrats. I don't know, see if there's some sound, if you can get some sound in there, Everett. But it was very interesting. Now, I don't know where this location is. I don't have any clue of who the person is that videoed it, but they did post this, and the guy said out loud, if you are a Democrat, you can vote. But for Republicans, I don't have any staff. And the guy said out loud, I'm not you can't vote here, basically. Oh, that was pretty interesting. But for Republicans, I don't, whether that skewed anything
There's
or
a lot
not.
of questions to be answered.
Oh yeah, I would think so. I would definitely think so. Now, there's no identifying information on this particular
There's a lot of questions to be answered.
tweet to say where it was. We just know that it was somewhere here in Houston. So on this particular, but it is what it is. So if you have not gotten out to vote, it is that season. It's that time to get out and do it. Or
When
did
did
they
the
do it?
vote-
But
when
it was
did the
last
votes
night.
have to be in by?
It was last night. The primaries were last night. So
So I missed out.
you missed out. Yeah, you missed out. They've already gotten Beto O'Rourke is the Democratic nominee for governor.
Oh, really?
He is. Boo. Greg Abbott is for the Republicans. Rick Perry was on the ballot again. I did not know that. He lost handsomely. but he was one of the candidates as well. But yeah, it was last night. So if you didn't get out there to do it, but be ready the next time. See, November comes, man.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
Oh yeah, we'll give you a pass. We'll give you a
It's been a rough
pass
week this week. It's been
We'll make sure that when it's time,
from being in hospital to everything else. It's been
yeah, man. We want you to be well, to get better. Of course, we don't have any control when our body decides to do things. So, but we know you'll bounce back.
So
We do know you'll bounce back.
We'll get there.
Speaking of bouncing back, man. So the travel industry had been kind of taking it on the chin a bit when it comes to cruise ships and the airlines. I will say from firsthand, my wife and I were in Atlantic City this weekend and flew into Newark and then went to Manhattan and then went to a concert in Atlantic City. The airports are full. They are completely back to normal from pre-COVID. I remember,
How about
and
the
now
masks?
they're full.
Are the masks still?
Well, you still got to wear your masks.
Okay.
But even when we were at the Hard Rock Cafe in Atlantic City, and I mean, some folks had on masks, some didn't. But it wasn't a requirement, kind of thing. People are kind of lessening that mandate on it because the majority of people have at least gotten vaccinated,
Right.
and I think that helps a bit because
What
even
do they
if,
reckon now? 75%.
yeah, and that's a lot. That's huge. I mean, if you think about it, that's the majority of everyone that's done it. So it is what it is. But with that being said, Carnival Cruise Line, they had a ship. I don't know which one it was, but there was a young lady who was being detained for whatever the reason. I don't know what the reason was, but they had her kind of held. It looks like she's handcuffed, but she's not really handcuffed. I think the pictures are a little bit further down on that article. She's not really handcuffed. They just have her hands held down behind her back. Yeah, if you play that. But that's her. It's the security and it looks like some ship personnel. They have her, with her hands behind her back, not handcuffs at all, but they have her restrained, shall I say. And this is minutes later when she jumped off the ship. Now, they said she jumped from her room. I don't know all the details on where her room was or how close she was on it, but that's what everyone's kind of scurrying to the side to see that she fell off the side of this cruise ship. And of course, all the details haven't come out yet, but I think she was there with her husband or with a friend or whoever. But yeah, out there in the middle of the ocean is when she fell off the ship, man. And that's they started searching for her, but they hadn't been able to locate her body at all. I mean, you fall out there, man. I mean, it's just a matter of time that it's gonna, it'll be curtains for you. So
Do you think it's a case of mental health?
that was my first thought. Mental health, or she was inebriated, really, really badly. Because I just don't see it being normal for her to jump off the side of the ship.
Which carnival ship was it?
Valor. The Valor balcony is what it says now. And I don't think the Valor sails out of Galveston, but on regularly. Maybe it has. I don't know. But I do know that the Coast Guard have been looking for her, and they suspended the search. I think this one was out of New Orleans, though. But yeah, that was a tragedy to say that we just started kind of getting things back to normal, so to speak, and here we are with a casualty in life with that. So, yeah,
Whenever it's a loss of life, I mean, it's sad.
it is. It is. Speaking of, since we're in that vein and not having to come back to it, we'll just go to number 15, Everett. This is a young lady, a college student in another New Orleans person. So apparently this young lady was out, having a good time with friends, boyfriend or whatever, and she was dropped off at the hospital and pronounced dead. It's got at the bottom. You keep flowing down. She was dropped off at the hospital, supposedly by an Uber driver. So her boyfriend, supposedly she was at the house with him or hanging out with him, and then she left to go and feed her cat or to let her cat out, whatever the case, what the details of the article says. But apparently the boyfriend heard when he called to check on her, the Uber driver asked if she likes to party or something along those lines about 1:30 in the morning. And the next thing they know, she had gotten dropped off at the hospital, dead on arrival. So those details, she went to University of New Orleans there. Those details are yet to kind of come out. But this young lady out partying, having a good time, and now she's no longer here. So another loss of life, of course, in that situation. I think she was 21 years old. 21-year-old New Orleans college student pronounced deceased after she was dropped off at a hospital Saturday morning following a night out with her friends.
Good. That as well.
Yeah. Definitely a shame, man. You got to be careful out there. It's Mardi Gras season. I'm not saying that that's the reason why all of this happened, but Fat Tuesday was yesterday, so we're now in Lent. But that did happen to that young lady there. So, moving right on down along where we are. We were at home sales.
Yeah.
U.S. home sales
Jumped in January.
That's surprising. That with interest rates.
Why do you think it's surprising?
Well, because our inventory has just been low, period. Now, I think what we're seeing more of now are people that have kind of been living in their homes and now they're getting motivated to sell. So that might be part of it. But the inventory is still low. That's why I'm surprised that it was an increase. Because anytime you don't have enough, then of course there's no way to actually sell them. So,
right.
But that's good for our industry, of course.
But I think a lot of people are worried that the interest rates are going up. Cost them more. The longer they wait, the more it's going to cost them.
Oh, that is true. That is definitely a true assumption.
I mean, if interest rates go up, I mean, it could make a big difference.
Well, the interest rates are going to go up. It's inevitable. But they're still historically low. So if anyone that's the hesitation is, I want to wait till interest rates come back down, that's a losing battle because no one knows when that will happen or if that will even happen.
When do you think they'll go up, Jim? Do you think
Well, they go up daily. I mean, at this point, we're already in a shift to where they're going to go up. As a matter of fact, I got an alert a little while ago that Jerome Powell had mentioned that they were going to push interest rates up a quarter. Excuse me, or 25 basis points, basically. So they're trying to combat inflation. And with that being said, you push rates up a little bit. Now, the short-term rates don't have a direct impact on long-term rates for mortgages, but the market does tend to react a bit. So you'll see, mortgage bonds, mortgage-backed securities have an unfavorable price. For instance, right now they're down 80 basis points after being up the past few days. So with that news, it just kind of makes a shift in it. So people will be pulling money out of the bonds and putting them into the stock markets today. So you might see some green in your stock portfolio today. If you are in that type of thing, you might see some movement depending on what you invested in. So just look out for it. But it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. I don't think it's something that we'll get away from. quite frankly, the time of the season that we're in right now with this
is there a
war.
breakdown
Uh,
of the people that have been buying the homes? They be first time home buyers?
I'm sure there is, but not on this particular article. I'm sure there's a way to get that information.
It's always interesting to get that breakdown to see if that first time home buyers. I always hope that first time home buyers, getting them on the ladder.
Yeah, first time home buyers are unfortunately many times ill informed when it comes to the process. So we just got to make sure that we are equipping them with the information so they can get on the ladder, as you put it. Most definitely. All right, what else we got? It says Canada real estate's gone up. Rents shot up. Rents up everywhere. I don't think that's not just a Canadian problem. That's a problem.
No, I think it's
across the board.
I do think it's a problem across the board. Rents are shooting up. Properties are being far between. They're becoming fewer. And especially in the cities as well. That's to me where the problem is. The major cities.
Mm-hmm.
People can't afford to live in the cities now. Got to move further outside, suburban area.
I will say this article was mentioning that the average rent in Ontario for all types of homes is like $2,100 a month, which is
that's a bit excessive.
That is definitely excessive. Definitely excessive. But some people seem not to be able to. They don't have any other options to do it. At least they choose to. If you're paying $2,100 a month, that's a $300,000 home. In some cases, depending on where it is. So, the rents, although that's kind of the only option some people have, they're looking less and less attractive. Now, and not just in Canada. I mean, it's anywhere you got to pay that amount of money. So it'll be tough for those of you out there trying to rent.
Surged. I mean, in the industry, we've seen rental rates,
and there's nothing to combat it, though. You can try to stay competitive as a landlord and keep your rents kind of where they are. That way, your person stays. But if it's costing you more to upkeep the property or whatever the case is, you're almost kind of forced to increase the rate. Because if you're increasing,
one of the problems that we found in the property management, because we do a property management department, is the cost of getting people to, contractors basically
to do the work, repairs.
Yeah. It's for some reason there's very difficult to get a lot of contractors these days. We're paying more on repairs now with contractors than we have been for a long time.
The cost is more. They're probably moving slower because the demand is higher.
No, I've been waiting to get a walk-in shower done at one of my properties. We've got changing from a bath to a walk-in shower now for about 2 months.
Is it materials or just to get them to do it?
It's just for them to get time
to do it.
To do it. It's a much more difficult task. It really is. But it's proving difficult. To get people to do things.
It seems like in general, it's difficult to do it,
I
but
think
of course
the
this
employment
doesn't help.
situation at the moment is difficult. It really is. It's difficult to get people. I do think there's a shortage of people. There's more people working at home. There's more people that want to work from home. And I just think it's very difficult.
It is. It is definitely difficult.
Yeah.
It is difficult. So
I agree. It's 100% difficult to work from home.
yeah,
I don't like working at home, to be perfectly honest.
I don't mind working from home. It's not something that
I'm not disciplined enough.
well, I think you gotta have a space kind of set,
You know.
because that's the most people's problem. The discipline. You gotta be disciplined enough to do it. So I get it. You'll be over there in your gym jams on the sofa watching TV, huh? Watching Dr. Phil.
That's right.
I think that's kind of like the problem with people who enjoy working from home. They would take comfort over efficiency.
Yes, this is true. And if you're not disciplined enough to do that, then that can become a problem. That can definitely become a problem. So, but yeah, so we talk rates. Rates, of course, we talked about that a bit. They, of course, approaching 4 is an understatement.
So
they're
where are
already
they?
there.
About 3.25.
Oh no, man! No, they're above that. Average rate's about 3, maybe about 3 3/4, 3 7/8 is where they're kind of approaching. It's not a situation now to where many folks can ask for that 2.5 or the 2 7/8 or sub 3% interest rate. It's just not the market for it. And anyone that's getting that or it's offering you that, trust and believe you're paying for it. You're paying for it in discount points or some kind of fee or something, because rates just are not that low anymore. As a matter of fact, national average mortgage rates right now, we can give you what they have for today. US. Looking anywhere from between 3.5 to 3 and 7/8, depending on credit, and that's at best credit. That's best credit. So you're talking about 740 plus for your credit score. So if you're out there and your credit score is not excellent or in that range for excellence, then you're probably not going to get that best interest rate. That it's going to be eking right just under 4%. So that's just kind of where
And that's with good credit.
things are. That's with good credit. And no, and please understand, if you can get anything below 4% right now, it's a good interest rate. You're not being taken advantage of. Even if you can get 4.25 now, that's a good rate. My rate is a 4 that I got on my mortgage 6-7 years ago. That's when rates were 5 and 6%. But you might ask, why haven't you refinanced? For me, the cost, it wasn't worth the cost for me, because I pay extra, got my mortgage insurance removed, so I just kind of, I'm trying to pay this thing off here soon. But when I hear someone that has like a 640 credit score, and you offer them a 4.5 and they're complaining, it's like, man, please no. I would have given you a 6%, years ago, but that's just kind of where we live. The largest group of people looking to buy right now have never seen interest rates above 4%. So they're a little bit squirrely when it comes to it, but just know that it's still a good rate. Don't be afraid about the interest rates. They're still good. So you can still make wise decisions in choosing to buy now and not wait. So cool. All right, man. Number 6, we're looking at so I saw a funny ad the other day, and it was a guy who was sitting at his desk, kind of working at an office. And then they showed him at like a club, and he said, "Oh, I'm rich." And then the next scene, they showed him like sitting at home doing nothing. And then the next scene, they showed him, "Oh, I'm rich. I'm doing these partying and all this stuff." Well, the whole deal was of talking about cryptocurrency, because of course, you know how volatile cryptocurrency can be.
Right.
1 minute, you're
up,
in,
the next minute
you're
you're
up,
down.
the next minute you're down. So it was a kind of a funny spin that they're talking about. So this article is talking about yacht sales. So you got fools going out here buying yachts with all their money, and the yacht sales have been going up from these young 25 and 26-year-old kids buying these huge yachts from this money that they're making in this cryptocurrency. Man, that is very dicey, I would say. I don't know. You're around that age range. If you're in the money, in the mix, do you find yourself going to buy a yacht?
No. I mean, seriously.
I mean, come on, man.
No.
I wouldn't know the first thing to do with a freaking yacht anyways. It'd be parked, docked somewhere in the water. I mean, I just go out there and look cool on it, take some pictures, but the inventory for yachts, they sold like $1.6 billion last year in yachts. Yachts.
And how old were the people?
Well, they said some as young as 25. 2 years ago, the average age of Fraser's, who's the Fraser Yachts, was 55 to 65 years old. That age range now has dropped down to between 45 and 55. And they said the fastest growing segment of the new millionaires and billionaires are in their mid-20s.
Wow.
Some of these people,
That's a heck of a drop.
that is a heck of a drop. Some of these knuckleheads are probably still living with their mom and dad. And they got a yacht? Come on, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, since last year, that was a 175% increase from 2020. So you got these overnight successes from crypto and these tech investors and startup executives, and they're spending money, man. They're spending money.
They're spending money they do not have.
They do. You're exactly right. Because we all know crypto. I don't know where it is today. Probably 36, 37,000. But it can be down just like that, and we know it. The Dow was up 500 points. Did you see that?
I do you know what? I haven't even looked at.
You haven't looked today, huh?
Not today.
That's not like you, man. That's not like you,
today.
buddy. But yeah, so if you want to buy a yacht, Fraser Yachts, you can get one from them. If you're in the money, that crypto money, I can't afford it because, I'm not made like that, but it is what it is.
Or unless you're a sensible person who doesn't really need a yacht, then just get a small little boat.
There you go. Or just ride on someone else's.
Buy some more.
Hey,
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if I want
There's
to be
some
rowing.
exercise for you.
I don't know if I want to be rowing or not, but speaking of stuff that's up, man, you see oil's over 100 now, $107.
It's always better. For $100.
Yeah, man, but it was a time where it was down, in the negatives almost, but we're going to see that at the pump. And we're probably going to see $5, $6 gas, which is not good, but you'll see me working from home a whole lot more. We're going to be doing this podcast on the Zoom. You better believe that.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's going to be fun for me.
Well, you'd have to come in, but we'll have to figure something out.
Here's also another thing. Imagine $4 or $5 here in Texas. I remember the last time I was in California, the gas pump was $9 a gallon. I would hate to be in California to find out what it becomes after the gas price rises.
Well, I think California's already at $6 for them. Like now, they're already there.
No, it's $9 right now.
Oh, I haven't seen the $9. I have seen $5 or $6, but I haven't seen $9.
In California?
I don't know what part of California.
California. I went there recently to visit my sister, and it's like, holy crap.
Man, that's a terrible situation to be in, making decisions on whether or not you're going to pay your mortgage or anything else. So, whew. Well, okay, moving on. What we got? This is actually that Camila Valieva's coach. You were talking about that, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's tucking in and they're saying that, how she was shouting and, sort of berating her and everything. But people need to remember this is an Olympic level.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it was necessarily that much of a, I don't think it necessarily achieved anything, but the truth of the matter is, you know, emotions are high and situations happen. But I mean, she didn't skate well. She didn't pull off any of her jumps at all. She was favourite to win it, so there was a lot of disappointment there. It's not. People forget that it's an emotional time.
Right.
You know. I mean, I can't. I told you I can't tell you how many times, you know, Wendy would get hard with me, in the changing room because I'd screwed up. But and I made my voice heard when it was on the other foot as well, and she messed up. It's an emotional point, and it's one of them things that it just goes to show that when you're at that sort of level, things like that happen. She was favourite to win it. It's there's no room for error when you get to that sort of level. I mean, the whole Russian team was completely messed up.
There was obviously a lot of competitiveness. There's a lot of competitiveness between the Russian team. There was Camilla, who was favourite. Then there was two other Russian ladies that were below that they expected to win it as well. So all hell broke loose, but Camilla Valleva's, coach was berated for looking at her in a negative way. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, it's like a soccer coach. A soccer coach pays to get results.
Right.
So they're paid to get results, and if they don't get results, then there's going to be a discussion about that, whether it be a high-rated discussion or otherwise. A lot of sports psychologists, will turn around and say, well, nothing was achieved by
that excessiveness. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, it's an emotional sport.
Yeah.
There's two ways you motivate people. One is the nice way. Some people motivate themselves by being positive and being positive about what you say. And some people, if you turn around and say you can't do it, it makes them feel that, oh, well, hold on a minute, I can do it. I want to prove, this is a point I've got to prove.
Absolutely.
So that's what people don't understand. They really don't understand the psychology of sport.
That's what really separates the real true champions in the sports.
It is, totally.
Being able to deal with that mentally.
Yeah,
and overcoming those challenges.
I mean, it's a little bit like, you know yourself, it's like running a business.
Right. Absolutely.
Running a business is not for everybody, regardless what you do. All they do, they see you drive in the car, and they see the shiny bumper at the front, but they don't see the old wheels at the side when you go around the side. They only see the one aspect of it. So, although I felt for Camilla, at the same time, I understood what her coach was doing. My question is it the end of Camilla Valieva?
Yeah.
Is it the end of her? Is she going to continue? Is she going to show any true grit? Is she going to continue? The next Olympics is 4 years away. A woman's body can change a lot in 4 years.
Absolutely.
If she's around that year. So, the future will tell. We'll see. We'll see You know, whether she's still around, only time will tell, really, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
You know. But I definitely, obviously, it was a disappointment. And it wasn't just a disappointment for her, it was a disappointment for a lot of her supporters and a lot of, there was a lot of people that were surprised about the performance.
Right. Because when you have high expectations, you think about that kind of stuff. Then it kind of falls short.
But at times
Sometimes when you take it for granted, then that's when that complacency sets in. So whether it was complacency, I really don't know. Whether it was taking it for granted, I really don't know. I understand how a coach felt though when you put all that preparation into it.
Right.
You just can't deliver on that last 100 yards. But it was definitely a surprise to the skating world. I personally don't think Russia should have even been in the Olympics.
Man, tell me about it. Don't get me started.
They should have
been in it. No, they was caught for drugs, for dopes, and then in. So, then they're competing for the Russian Olympic Committee. I mean, come on. It's still Russia.
Yeah.
They should have been banned. They shouldn't have been in the competition. They should not have been in it at all.
Totally agree.
It's like there's no consequences. And I think doping should be taken seriously. It's cheating.
It is cheating. It is definitely cheating. I totally agree. Shoot. Well, speaking of consequences, man, I guess we can stay in that same vein with the athletes. One of the consequences of cross-country skiing, apparently, is having your appendage frozen
penis
as you're out there. I know this is one you kind of threw in there, but I was reading an article, man, and this Finnish skier from was it Remy Lindholm? This is not the first time this has happened to him. What do you think that if this was not the first time, by now you would have some kind of remedy to make sure it didn't happen again? I think
his grandmother could have knitted him some sort of covering.
I mean, what covering?
Some kind of something. Put some hot pockets down there. I don't know. Not hot pockets, hot hands. Sorry. The little pocket. Little deals are called hot hands.
The sacrifices people make,
man,
for
tell
Olympic
me about
sport.
it. For Olympic sport. And this is a young guy, too. This guy's 24 years old. Like, man, you out there.
Does it permanently damage it, though? Or?
Well, I don't think it would be. I mean, it's essentially a casing, to be used or to feel later. But I can see it being very painful. I can see it being very painful. Said he was out there for an hour and 16 minutes, and it was sub-zero temperatures out there. But I don't know, man. I don't think I love a sport that much that I can. This might happen to me once, but to say that this is not the first time this happened to him, I would be so prepared. There's no way that I let this happen to me again.
Perhaps he needs to design a willy warmer.
Yes, he does. Some kind of something that'll kind of give him some layer protection, because whatever he's working on right now does not work.
Willy Warmer, patented by Stephen Williams.
There you go, yeah.
You heard it here first. So Willy Warmers for the Olympics. We could start that being a product, man. We could sell that to...
Remy Lindholm could do it to pay for it.
Yeah. He'd be our spokesperson.
I'm kind of curious. Wouldn't that kind of be like a furry condom?
Yes.
Could be.
Wow.
Yeah.
It could be.
There's a new fashion trend, guys. That's what we're going with.
Or we could make it a furry underwear. Something you put on that will cover the whole entire area. And that could also help as well. So who knows? We're hoping that Remy is taking this time to recover and to warm up his Johnson and get back on track to what he needs to do. So Anywho, shoot, we've kind of gone through a lot of this stuff on here. What else we got?
Who's Hank the Tank
You know what?
on the run from California police?
Let's see, man. Hank the Tank is a bear. And I guess, according to the picture, he's called Hank the Tank because
He's a little bit big.
he's a big guy. Supposedly, Hank has an issue with breaking into people's houses in that Lake Tahoe area. And
500 pounds.
500 pounds. So Hank is eating human food. That is why he's that big. Because I refuse to believe that boy is getting that big on honey and leaves and whatever else that he might be eating. Hank is a tank. Oh my goodness. And you wonder how big he will get, or if he's kind of reached his maximum size. That's a big boy. That is a big boy. And they say he's on the run. How can that even be a possibility? How is he even running? What ends up happening, man, people end up feeding these bears, and they get a taste of the food, and they start to see people as food sources because, you know, they're giving them the goodies, and that's not a good thing. It's never a good thing.
500 pounds. Wow.
I think you put him on a diet.
What do you do? Because if they catch him, first of all, if you do catch him, if he's 500 pounds, you're gonna need a winch to lift this dude up. Because that's not going to be on a stretcher or some regular cage or anything. So they're going to have to dope him up really, really big, which makes me believe that they might end up euthanizing him anyways because he's so large. So I say, Hank, if you want to live, brother, stay hidden. At least try to stay hidden.
Yeah, that'd be a shame to do that.
Yeah, find Yogi and Pooh and all the rest of those guys and hang out with them because you've gotten a little bit big, a little big there for your britches. What else we got, man?
And he's been breaking into people's houses.
Yeah, that's why he's that big. That is why he's that big. He's eating human food, man. He's eating human food. Oh, that was it was a little concerning, but number 8 was a bit crazy on that list. Did you see about that one? That Louisiana teacher?
What did the Louisiana say?
Louisiana teacher pleads guilty to lacing students'
yes.
cupcakes with husbands. Yeah. That is so I read through this article, and apparently they were kind of in on it together. And I don't know if it was supposed to be a joke or it's supposed to be I don't know whose idea this was, but some kind of sick fetish that they were doing. But they got into it. I guess decided they want to break up, split up. So she decided she was going to tell on him. And of course, you tell on him, you're really telling on yourself because she was complicit in it, in taking part in this crap. So they had initially been charged with 60 counts of production of child pornography, but I guess with her pleading guilty, she still got 40 years on it. And I don't know what his trial is going to be coming up soon, I'm guessing. But this is just a sick,
Pretty sick individual.
sick couple, people, period.
Absolutely.
Why they would even think that something like this would even be worth wow and taking precedent from anything else that they should be working on their relationship. Worried about putting this in some cookies, whatever they put it in. It's stupid. People are sick out here.
Growing up from the east side, I can concur with that.
People are sick out here, man. I don't know what folks are thinking. It sounds like sometimes they don't think. But
what would they really want to do? I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man, we powered through that list pretty much. What we have spoken about. How about you, man? What's on the horizon for we're in the last month for this quarter, for 2022. How things looking for second quarter? What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
For the housing market?
Yeah, or just period, just in business. Any big plans coming?
I think it's going to be pretty steady for the rest of the year. I think it's going to be steady. The first couple of months, I've been surprised how busy we've been and how busy our agents and successful our agents have been. So I really think that we'll see some numbers. I'll see some numbers, and I'm sure that the agents are going to enjoy the success. We've got a lot of good agents that keep on going, and but so far in February, the numbers have been pretty
good,
pretty encouraging. So we just need to keep that going. It's consistency is what it's all about at the end of the day.
It is. I totally agree with you.
We just need to keep the consistency going, and then we'll be fine.
I totally agree. Not getting discouraged, pushing through adversity, because that makes us better. Working out those muscles and the things that will continue to kind of propel us forward. So, and leaning on each other. Last week we talked about what do we call it, Everett? Buying a Coke? I wish sharing a Coke. Remember that old commercial? I wish I could buy the world a Coke. Just doing more.
I'd like
for
to buy
people.
the world a Coke.
I'd like to buy the world a Coke, man, and really doing a better job at saying good morning, speaking to people, being a better light to those, because people are going through things. You never know what someone's going through, what someone's dealing with. So we can't be so selfish and looking at our own problems and it overshadowing just being able to be kind to someone else. So we want to keep that same energy. We're going to continue to push that on this platform. So we encourage you.
While I've got you at the end, so
Yeah.
what do you think about the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
It's a distraction.
You say
That's what I think. I think it's unfortunate. I think Putin has probably stepped in it, bitten off more than he could chew at this point.
I think he's bitten off more than he can do with the
Yeah.
Ukrainians.
They're not going to go away easily. That president is a young guy. That he's a millennial. So I don't know. I don't see it ending as easily as maybe he thought it would be.
It's actually kind of funny is that the president of Ukraine was also a former actor too.
Yeah, he's a comedian. He was a comedian.
That's interesting.
But I wish the Ukrainian people all the best.
I think they'll be fine.
Do.
I think they'll be fine. Hopefully.
It's just a shame that there's a lot of them that are dying, and that's the shame. It's children that are dying.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing, and why you wonder why.
And I really hope that the international community, penalise Russia financially, and really, cut them away from different systems. I know they cut them away from SWIFT, and the ruble dropped 30% yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you're going to hit them.
Oh yeah. It's not. I was telling somebody that the other day. Hitting them. I mean, you could drop a bomb or missile or whatever, but really, truly hitting them hard will hit them in the pockets financially.
Well, they reckon
putting no sanctions on them.
Well, they reckon that in the event that they take financial penalties with them, they reckon it'll hit them for years.
I believe it.
I really hope it does,
I believe it.
because it's been 70 years since we've had any war. And I really think it's a shame. And I think if Putin wants to expand his agenda, which is back to the old USSR,
Right.
with the borders, and I think that's what his plan is. He wants to push it back to that. Because a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries have got closer to the the European countries, want to join their democracies, and that's what I really feel.
Yeah.
I mean,
If he doesn't watch it, he'll be fighting up a bunch of rubble, because you can't just tear it up and bomb it all up. I mean, what benefit is that? You're going to be spending money. You're going to be spending money trying to repair and everything, and it's like it's useless.
yeah, and I think the pressure on Putin is going to be when soldiers start to get killed,
Yeah.
and they're going back home and got to explain that to their mothers.
Yep.
That is really going to be his problem.
We'll see, man.
My heart and soul is with the Ukrainian people, and I think it could spread to other Eastern European countries. And if that's the case, was it Article 5 of NATO?
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody's going to get dragged into it, and it's going to be a real mess.
Well, hopefully it won't be to that point.
So, what do you say? Ukraine it's a distraction?
Well, I think
From
this
what?
whole skirmish is a distraction. We don't know. I'm just making sure I'm paying attention to everything else. Anytime you have war, that's where the focus is. But then there's so much other things that take place on the side, but it's not on the forefront, so you kind of miss it. So, just staying diligent and staying informed. And anyone that thinks that it doesn't affect us, they couldn't be any more wrong, because even though it's not here, it will definitely affect us.
Our gas prices.
It'll affect
It's
us,
going to affect
definitely.
energy prices.
Everything. Yeah, everything. So, yeah, we'll stay.
It just seems so counterproductive.
It is. It most definitely is, because there's no. What's the reason? It's kind of like, well, why? Why are we fighting?
Why not just leave the Ukrainian people?
They don't want to be a part of you. Just leave them alone. Why do you want them? Why force it? Makes no sense. So, but yeah, man. So that's we'll see what happens.
And all the lies that are being told why to support the separatists.
Absolutely.
It's such a shame. Anyway,
All right, sir. That's it, man. Well, shoot, it was a quick one, but we powered through it, and next week hopefully we'll be got some more other topics. If there's things that you guys want us to talk about, please don't hesitate to shoot them over to us. If you're looking at joining the real estate community as a realtor or a loan officer, our information is down in the description below. Please share this information, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you can be aware when we do go live, and follow us on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you.
Absolutely. We'll be here next week, same time, 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us.
Take care. Have a good week, guys.
We'll be here next week, same time, 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us.
Take care. Have a good week.